Chances are, if you're a grown adult in this United States of America, you've been involved in some kind of work from home business at some point in your adult life. Almost 1/3 of the population of our country is involved in network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales in some way, shape, or form. Unfortunately for us, a huge portion of that industry is propagating theories or ideas about network marketing that are just not true. In fact, there are 5 lies that are being circulated within that industry, and those 5 lies are convincing thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to come into that industry on a false presumption. And the first that you're going to hear almost overwhelmingly is that it's a customer-based business. But listen, all companies are going to say that, but you have to look at the evidence. If the only ones using the product or the service are the distributors, it's not a customer-based business. I mean, how many retail users of the product or the service does each representative from that company have on average? If it's less than 10, it's not a customer-based business, it's a recruiting business. And why is this a bad thing? Because if only the distributors or the business builders are using the product or service, this is something called internal consumption, which leads right into myth number 2 or lie number 2, which is that it's about residual income. But if it's internal consumption, it can't be. It's impossible. Because if the only people using the product or the service are the distributors, then in order for someone coming into the company to make any money, they must be a master recruiter. Because if there's not a massive team of builders, then there's no volume. And if there's no volume, there's no money. And people are not going to stay on auto ship forever, paying $150 or $200 a month for a volume of product that they can't consume if they're not making money, even if they love the product. Because even if they love the product, they can get it on eBay for pennies on the dollar. Look up any multi-level marketing or network marketing company product you want, and you'll be able to find it on eBay for literally pennies on the dollar. The internet has created a secondary market that makes it nearly impossible to effectively market MLM products to retail customers. And what this does is it forces internal consumption. And because of this, natural attrition is going to happen en masse. And over time, your team is going to shrink, and so does your income. With internal consumption companies, 95% of folks are going to quit because they're not recruiters. And they're not going to continue to pay that auto ship even if they love the product when they can get the product on the internet for pennies on the dollar. So there's no walk-away income in most network marketing companies. Now, this is not true for all. So don't take offense if you're involved in a company you think is working well for you. I'm just saying most companies out there have this issue. And this is why you see senior vice presidents, diamonds, ambassadors walking off. This is why you see them leaving the company. This is why you see them working harder than anyone else, because of internal consumption, and they have more to lose than anyone else for losing their position, and they would lose their position because they're constantly trying to replace the attrition with new recruiting. And so lie number 3 is that the plan B can become a plan A. But how many top-level distributors, ambassadors, or diamonds, or VPs do you know that got there part-time? And the answer is, I don't know of any. The typical story sounds like I got in the business, I started making money, I quit my job, I slept on the floor, I ate top ramen, I beat the streets for 80 hours a week, and I finally made diamond. Right? But almost no one ever makes it to the top part-time. So at some point you've got to quit your job, you've got to sell the farm, and you've got to go full enchilada if you want to make it. And most people are just not in a position to do this, especially highly paid professionals. It's a lot harder to replace $150,000 a year than 30 or 40. And most white-collar workers are not going to throw away their businesses or their careers of 20 years to try and make it in multi-level marketing, and that's a fact. Now, lie number 4 says if you'll stay with one company for 10 years, you're guaranteed to be a success. Look, the reason why company leaders and owners encourage you to stay in their company for 10 years is because they want your internal consumption. They want you to stay on that auto ship for as long as they can keep you to stay on it. And I'm not talking bad about any particular company or any portion of our industry. It only makes sense. If you were the business owner, if you were the CEO or the founder of that company, you would want customers that stayed on your product for as long as humanly possible. So you have to know that the only thing that's going to get you to the top is you. Time doesn't promote you. Work and skills promote you. Look at the top industry moneymakers. Number 1, they didn't get 10 years to get there, and B, they almost never stay more than just a few years at the top. So why do they move around? If the income is so good and so permanent and so long-term, why do they continue to move around? And the answer is internal consumption. It kills them. And so the last lie is that the average ambassador or crown or whatever in the company is making $70,000 a month or $150,000 a month. This is just not true. Look, there are VPs and diamonds and crown ambassadors at the very top of the production charts that have the income to buy Ferraris and Bentleys, but that's not average. The average VP level distributor is more likely working 50 to 80 hours a week to keep the lights on while they try to find the right people so they can start making the crazy money at the top. And even the ones that are making 6- and 7-figure incomes, if you could get them to be completely honest with you, would tell you that it isn't going to last because of internal consumption. Think about it this way. If the only people that stayed at Hilton hotels were Hilton employees, how long would Hilton hotels stay in business? If the only people that ate Sonic hamburgers were the bellhops that worked at Sonic, how long would Sonic hamburgers stay in business? And I think you know the answer. But we're not going to leave you in the mess. Now, the network marketing industry, the work-from-home industry has created lifestyles that are unimaginable. It's created more millionaires than any other industry. And there is a genuine and true opportunity to make real, long-lasting residual income inside of this industry. But you have to know what to look for. So you need to click on the link below so we can take you to tell you the 5 truths of the industry and what you need to look for in the right company.